Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule the world. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is F15 shot down. U.S. has terrors on every side. And ultimately, everything that these devils are trying to do or are, is doing, is coming up, basically, I'm trying to think of the word. They're not achieving their goals, right? Do this in Job 14. All right, it's 4. But I'll grab this. This is Job 14 and 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. And that's an excellent point because this also shows that this devil can't do anything to get himself out of his position. That's why I titled the video where I titled it, basically the latter end where it says terrors on every side. There's nothing this devil can do to heal his wound, his wounds. All right. It says Job 14 and 5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Turn from him that he may rest till he accomplish it as an hireling his day. Right. So the scriptures say that he must be loose for a little season. Right. This devil was given a period in time to, go out and basically deceive the world. Okay. Let me go grab this. So this is Revelations 20 and 1. The point is in 3. Right. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. Right. Devil just means a deceiver. Right. Satan is adversary. Right. And that's these Edomites. Pursuant to second Revelation 20 and 1, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. All right, pursuant to 2 Thessalonians 2. Because like I was saying earlier, devil is a deceiver, and Satan is adversary. Right, and this is exactly what this devil does. He deceives the whole world, and he's an adversary to Yahweh Bashim Shah, as 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4 says. I'll get it from 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except that cometh fallen away first. And that man of sin be revealed the son of perdition. Right, so he's going to go into destruction. Right, that's what perdition means, destruction. Let's get it. Right, destroying utter destruction. Right, so this is this devil's end. Right, he knows that he has a short time. All right, so that's why he's coming how he's coming. Anyway, it says 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God. So he opposes himself against God. All right, that's why he's adversary to God. All right. Opposes, to be set over against, opposed to, oppose, be adverse to, right? Withstand. So he's the adversary. See, it says here adversary, to be contrary, to oppose, right? So this devil is going to do everything opposite of what Yahweh Bashim Shah wants, right? And that's why you can see how the world is governed and set up. It's pure wickedness, right? So, and that's why that's why he was bounded. Right, Revelation 20 and 2, it says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Right, and that was during what they call the Dark Ages, which took what is known as the Byzantine Empire. Right, and during that time, the Israelites ruled Rome. Right, we ruled Europe. All right, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, So he was shut up under us, like he was underfoot. All right. And bottomless pit represents Europe. All right. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So this devil was supposed to be loose for a little season. So going back to that Job 14, where he was the bounds are set that he cannot pass, right? The scriptures say Esau is the end of the road and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So Esau is going to bring about his destruction, his end. All right, that's the Most High Yahweh Bashkim Shah is leading him that way. All right, pursuant to Isaiah 10, the scriptures say that he's a tool, right, in the Most High's hand. Can the hammer, boast itself against the axe? All right. See, Isaiah 10 and 5, it says, "Oh, Assyrian, the rod of mine anger." The rod of mine anger, that it's a tool in the Most High's hand. It says, "And the staff in their hand is mine indignation." All right. I believe it's NLT, it says that in NLT. Let me see. NLT says, "What sorrow awaits Assyria, the rod of my anger? I use it as a club to express my anger." All right. So this devil is just a tool, right? It says Assyria is God's instrument, right? This translates to America, right? Babylon. And ultimately, this devil's going to be destroyed. All right. So that was the Job 14 regarding the bounds that he cannot pass, because he's only been loose for a little season, and that little season ends with him, fighting Russia, which is soon to happen. Right? You jump down to verse 7 here, because when you read Revelation 20, you want to read these three, right? And then you skip and you jump down, starting at 7, right? To continue what happens after he's loose a little season, right? 4, 5, and 6 goes into us in the kingdom. All right, but anyway, Revelation 20 and 7, it says, "And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, right? To gather them together to battle, the number of whom is at the sand of the sea." Now, Gog and Magog goes into Russia, and the number of the sea is talking about a great amount of troops, right? Armageddon. All right, and was it Valley of Troops, right? Armageddon, the great slaughter, World War III, Mountain of Troops. All right, it says and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and fire came down from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua out of heaven and devoured them. All right, so ultimately, when they're doing this World War III, the nuclear missiles will be shot, and also fire from the chariots of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, pursuant to 2nd Edges 13, will get these devils destroyed, basically. It says, "And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone," right, which is going to be that nuclear destruction, "where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever." Right, and the beast goes into the whole system, America, whatnot, even just basically America, right? But Israel will be destroyed. All right, and wherever else the missiles hit, false prophets, the Roman Catholic Church, will be no more false prophets, nothing like that, because after that, pursuant to Isaiah 2, our kingdom is going to be set up, right? And they're going to run to us for the truth, right? The true words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right. This is Job 4. Job. I'm looking for a scripture where it says, "Well, he cannot perform his enterprise." All right, let me just try to grab that real quick. Yeah, and ultimately, it's all hell for this devil right now. Pretty much nothing is going well for him and not. All right, so it's Job 5 down at the bottom. It says Job 5 and 12. It says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Right. And that's the most high Yahweh Bashman Shai, making sure these devils, don't achieve, fully, what they want. Even in their master plan regarding the MOTB, it says when they're about to fill their belly, every hand of wicked shall come upon them, and the Most High shall rain upon them, while they're eating, basically. And that goes into nuclear missiles also, where we're fastly approaching with this Iran war. Job 20 and 23, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast a fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain upon him while he is eating. Right? He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow still shall strike him through. That's the missiles. Right? It's an iron weapon. In the scriptures, bow and arrows, used a lot for, the missiles. All right. I don't know if it's in Joel 2. Let me see, they got a precept here. Got Joel 2. All right. It's probably some in Jeremiah. Let me get Jeremiah. So I can. All right. So Jeremiah 59, it says, for lo, I will raise, right, and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. So the arrows are the nuclear missiles that will be shot. Right? You get Ezekiel 38, pointing to the fact that Russia will come against these devils. For Russia and many nations join with Russia. Iran being one of them. All right, so I wanted to read this. There's a lot happening. F15 was just shot down, right? People are dumping the dollar, the bonds, selling the bonds off of America. Generals are getting fired. People are stepping down. You had the Joe Kent guy, CIA guy step down. Many other people leaving. Pam Bunny just got fired, right? The war is not going as planned, right? It's a whole snare. Job 18 and 5, it says, yet a light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his friends shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. Right, and that's because the Most High Yahweh Bashman Shai confounded these devils' counsel. Right, there, I believe I heard one of the other apostles, I believe it was the elder apostle Ramlov, he was saying that you can't tell Trump what to do. If you did try to tell him what to do, he doesn't want to hear it. Right, and that's because the Most High has confounded this devil's counsel. Right, Isaiah 19 and 3, it says, shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. Now this Egypt is going into America, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. So the counsel of these devils is confounded. Right, they're not going to have a sound mind to make the right moves. Every move they make is bringing them closer to that destruction. It says for he is cast into a Job 18 and 8, for he is cast into a net by his own feet and walked upon a snare. Yeah, Jeremiah 50, again, that snare, when they went into Iran, I made a video, everyone had a different thing. That's how we move. I made a video titling Operation Snares Laid. I should have said snare is laid, whatever the case may be, because that is a snare. The scriptures talk about Russia and Iran being joined against these devils. So if you tag in Iran, Russia is soon to follow, And what's the fall after that is the missiles, shooting, basically. Jeremiah 50 and 22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashah. And again, he's adversary, right? He's opposed to Yahweh Bashmawashah. That's why it says he has striven, against Yahweh Bashmawashah. Let's check it out. All right. It says to cause strife, stir up, contend, meddle, strive, be stirred up. Yeah, the devil was trying to meddle with prophecy, if he could, but he's trying to just the the thought of trying to do that. It says to excite oneself against foe, wage war. They're talking about this is the war we wanted, the war of Armageddon, So they really think they really want this. They don't want it. They don't want them hands, right? Your hands too short to box at the Most High Yahweh Bashar Shah. It says the Lord Yahweh Bashar Shah have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Bashar Shah hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So ultimately, they will be destroyed. It says Job 18 and 8, for he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and a robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. And this is exactly what's happening. Everywhere the devil looks, his allies are turning on him, right? The dollar's collapsing. He's losing power too. Which is a huge thing, like they always talk about who's next to rule. If these devils are seeing that they're not winning, they're nowhere close to winning or even having power in the future world, because all their bases are destroyed over in the so-called Middle East. Psalms 49 and 11, it says that inward thought is that the house shall continue forever, in their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So that's what this devil does. What is it? John 10 and 10 says the thief come not but still kill and destroy. So all the plunder and things that he stole so far is disappearing, right? All the people that he had bases in these areas of different alliances, Africa, Japan, the so-called Middle East, and all of it is disappearing. With each day this war goes on. All right. And we'll still see what happens with the the Western hemisphere, like he say, he's trying to claim all of that. If he try to go up there in Canada, maybe my problems with that. Greenland too. We'll have to see. But I doubt we'll see. I doubt we have that type of time. Job 18:11, terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. Hunger bitten going into, weak, feeble. Right? He has no strength. It's failing. It's frail. All right. They even go into the war talking about they don't have the right amount of ammo. Right? They don't know how to fight the type of wars that's being fought now with these drones and things like that. It said it shall devour the strength of its skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. Right, Yahweh Shah pulls up. The firstborn of death, Yahweh Shah. All right. Yahweh Shah pulls up, pursuant to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. It says his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. Once again, Yahweh Bashar Shah. All right. Let me see what this NLT say here. It says they are torn from the security of their homes and are brought down to the king of terrors. It says, it shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation, the nuclear missiles. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the streets. He shall be driven from the light into darkness and chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they that went before were affrighted. Surely are such surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not Yahweh Bashmi Awashad. Ultimately, destruction, perdition, as the scripture said. Right, Obadiah 1:18 says, they'll be done away with completely when it's all said and done in the kingdom. All right. Let me get this Ezekiel 28:6. It says, therefore, I'll just get it from the top. Ezekiel 28:1 says, the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashmi came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi because thine heart is lifted up. Thou hast said, I am a power, I sit in the seat of Yahweh in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not a power, though thou set thine heart as the heart of Yahweh, right? It says, behold, and that's going back to the second having problem saying the word. Second Thessalonians, right? All right, where he's against, right? Yahweh says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, watching Yahushai, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. And what's happening is America has been humiliated, in this war against Iran, and the nations are seeing that these devils are weak, right? They're no longer that the hammer. They're calling America the paper tiger now. It says, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that saved thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that saved thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashad. Right, so that's what's happening to the devil, right? And he's losing bad out here in his war, right? There's a whole bunch of things happening to this devil. As the title says, terror's on every side.
Donald Trump is panicking as the United States F-15E was shot down over Iran. There were 2 crew members. A search and rescue mission is underway. Take a look right here at this footage right here of the search and rescue mission being conducted by the United States Air Force right now. You can also see F-35 jets, MQ-9 drones were spotted over Iran, supporting U.S. helicopters searching for pilots of this downed F-15E jet. The Iranian parliament leader, MB Ghalibaf, just posted, after defeating Iran 37 times in a row, this brilliant no strategy war they started has now been downgraded from regime change to, hey, can anyone find our pilots, please? Wow, what incredible progress. Absolute geniuses. Donald Trump's been making several posts on social media this morning, including the following. With a little more time, we can easily open up the Hormuz Strait, take the oil, and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world. Donald J. Trump. Not sure he knows what a gusher is, but a gusher for the world if we just steal all of Iran's oil. That as Iran and their social media accounts are posting memes of Legos of like a pilot being chased by Iranian soldiers. Iran's social media accounts are posting cartoon memes of Donald Trump with Ronald Reagan saying, I destroyed the Soviet Union. And Donald Trump responding, I destroyed the United States. Also, this AI image saying, wanted in case you find him. He's an F-35 pilot, not a lost shepherd. We want him alive, thanks to FK. And this is the Iranian social media accounts posting that. I mean, earlier in the morning, as the U.S. had not yet admitted that this F-15E was shot down, Iranian state media was releasing images of debris from the U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle fighter jet. I mean, you can see right there the chair.
All right, so this is, just the latest happenings. So that they fired this general, and basically, why the hell would you fire a general, in the middle of a war, as this dude was saying?
War with no reason given. On April 2nd, Defense Secretary Pete Hegg said the U.S. Army just lost its top general in the middle of a war with no reason given. On April 2nd, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called Army Chief of Staff General Randy George while George was in a meeting and told him to retire immediately, effective today. George had more than a year left in his term. He'd served in Desert Storm, Iraq, and Afghanistan. He found out he was fired over the phone. No explanation was announced. None. But here's what did happen. Hegseth immediately slotted in his own former personal aide as acting Army chief. That's the move, not a purge, a replacement. The Army's top officer now reports to the man who gave him the job. You don't do this in the middle of a war to clean house. You do it to make sure the house does what you want. The U.S. Army just lost its...
All right, so, pretty much, that's all I had. I wanted to bring those few things out. Lord willing, you edify from the lesson. Shalom to the hopeful elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.